We're back now at 8:45, and this morning on Today's Parenting, a digital danger for teenagers. We're talking about cyber abuse at the hands of other teens through social networking sites, text messages, and emails.
Did you get all my texts?
The nonprofit Ad Council is launching a campaign to help stop what it calls textual harassment, a new form of domestic abuse which ranges from unrelenting and unwanted text to pressure for sexually charged photos.
Let's try something new. Nude pics.
Recent surveys show a frightening trend of digital abuse. 30% of teens say they've been messaged as much as 30 times an hour by a prying partner. Another survey found that almost 40% of teens have sent sexual messages.
Erica sent me a picture of herself topless.
The documentary American Teenager illustrates perfectly how one provocative picture emailed to one student spread like a virus through an entire Indiana high school.
People have it on their phones.
I mean, my dad ended up seeing the photo.
The Ad Council hopes its website, That's Not Cool, will get teens to realize what is inappropriate behavior, with advice from bloggers and some homegrown videos, like this one that imagines a father's reaction to finding a nude cell phone photo.
I'm taking your cell phone, dumping it down the garbage disposal, and flipping the switch. Oh, and by the way, you're grown until you're dead.
Peggy Conlon is president and CEO of the Ad Council. Dr. Janet Taylor is a psychiatrist and, by the way, mother of 4 daughters. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Ad Council's taken on online bullying, domestic violence, but this subject, were you surprised by the numbers of the teens and tweens involved in this?
We really were, and we also found through our partners, the National Family Violence Prevention Fund and the Justice Department, that this is really a precursor to domestic violence. So we really wanted to nip it in the bud. But when our pro bono agency, RGA, began to talk to kids about how they experience domestic violence, it didn't come through in the traditional terms that we were used to hearing when we were that age. It's really all about harassment online and controlling that behavior.
And your campaign targets the 8th and 9th graders. Why did you think that was the age-appropriate group?
Their relationships are just beginning to form. They're entering high school, they're starting to date, and it's really, today, they communicate digitally. So this was the perfect time for us to teach them how to draw the digital line and, take control of their own space.
And that they have tools at their disposal, use the word tools actually, that can help them handle this situation.
That's exactly right. And the website, that'snotcool.com, is terrific. It's got great videos on there where there's role-playing to teach them how to handle these situations. There's these little devices called call-out cards that they can send to people that are kind of edgy and humorous, and they can push back in a non-threatening way.
It can nip it right in the bud.
That's right.
In a very healthy way. Janet, you've got advice for kids and parents, starting with kids. You want them to be aware of how what they receive makes them feel.
Well, absolutely, because if they can tie into that and they get a message that makes them feel uncomfortable, makes them sad, they can listen to that message and not respond and key them into the point that may be a time to tell an adult, a classmate, a guidance counselor.
Here's what I see as a potential problem. If they go and they tell their parent, let's say they tell me, I'm the parent, and I freak out and I contact the person who sent them the message or the parent of the person who sent them the message, it's going to get around school pretty quickly that my child was the uncool one who put an end to all the fun everybody was having. How do they deal with that?
Well, so the best thing a parent can do is just chill out and listen. And one of the reasons that our teens and adolescents don't want to tell us about things like this is because we'll blame them or say, I'm going to take away your internet and take away your email, and that's not what we need to do. We need to listen to them and talk to them about our own relationships because, we need to help them make the connection between what happens offline and online, and that's communication, that's relationships, and certainly not to be suspect.
Yeah, I think you both would agree with one of your other pieces of advice for the kids, and make sure you don't become part of the problem as well. I mean,
don't pass it on.
You don't respond.
Right.
Exactly.
Provocative pictures.
Let's talk about the advice for parents now. Know your kids' friends, but we're talking about phones, and this isn't like a computer in the family room. This is something they hold in their hands. How do you become aware of who they're talking to?
It's a problem. My phone doesn't ring at home because my girls are texting, and so you don't know who their friends are. When they mention someone's name, you can say, hey, how do you know them? And again, not judgmentally, but just listen. If they say, oh, I met them online, or I don't really know them, I'm a friend, then you can talk to them about what it means to be a friend and maybe give them some cues about good friendships.
And parents need to listen and ask questions, not the way that guy in that in that video with the screaming in the kid's face. It's got to be much more of an adult conversation like Janet talked about.
That's right. But the reason that we targeted 8th and 9th graders is because kids and parents, for the most part, live in parallel universes. The parents really don't understand what's going on with their kids and their connection with their friends. So if we can give them the tools to recognize where someone is crossing the line, to push back, and to frame healthy relationships, I think it'll be a great preventative message.
Because some of these teens may not realize they're really being stalked by their boyfriends, and that no one really should control where they go. And so that's the whole point. And the website does an excellent job, I think, in pointing that out for teenagers in language that they understand, and that they can come up with some control and feel like they have the tools to stop it.
That what if question is huge. They've got to stop and say, what if what I'm about to send, this picture, this explicit picture of myself, what if it ends up in everyone's hands? How am I going to feel about that? And generally that would stop it right there. You say you also want to be on the same internet services as you are with your daughters, right?
I'm on Facebook. 2 blocked me, 2 friended me, but I'm there. I know what's happening. But as parents, we have to, we put so much control on ringtones, and we need to look at content and behavior. And the only way to establish that is to get online with our kids.
Peggy Conlon and Janet Taylor, thanks to both of you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much. And to learn more, log on to our website at todayshow.com.